So I just woke up from the weirdest experience. Now, my entire life I've been experiencing sleep paralysis, right? Like I'm like master level on sleep paralysis because ever since I was a kid, I've always had sleep paralysis. I've had, different experiences in terms of their scariness, but over time, I learned how to master it by not being afraid. And just eventually all the scary stuff went away. So now my experiences are just weird, so to speak. And I got this new back pillow. Don't judge me, but yeah, I needed that because my back has been bothering me. So I got this back pillow that forces you kind of to sleep on your back. So of course, that's like prime because when you're sleeping on your back, the brainwave patterns tend to change based on the blood flow in your head. So that's why most people experience sleep paralysis while they're laying on their back. So I'm in my sleep paralysis state. I'm laying on my back. I'm looking at the room and at the door. I keep hearing, somebody come in the door, but I don't see anyone. So I'm like, okay, I'm just laying there like, whatever. I look towards the dresser and I see that I have like a paper towel, but in my mind, I'm like, okay, I'm fully awake. So, that feeling that weighs you down. I'm like, I try to telepathically push the paper towel off the dresser. Like now I'm just like, I'm playing around because I'm like, I'm awake in the sleep paralysis. I'm like, let me just try to do something weird. So I'm trying to push the paper towel off the dresser, but then I noticed that as I'm moving my hands around, the air itself is so dense, right? I can physically feel the molecules or the energy of the room within my hands as I'm moving my hands around. And then I try to of course, throw that energy over to the paper towel. I'm like, it's not working. It was just so dense. I've never been able to move my hands around like that. Typically when people have sleep paralysis, you can't move your body because you feel something weighted pressure on you. So I got to thinking, as I moved my hands around and I was feeling this very weighted air that felt like I could grab it. It was so dense. I'm like, what is actually happening when we're experiencing sleep paralysis? And the thought occurred to me that it's kind of probably like the double slit experiment where a photon light actually, when it's not being observed, disappears and goes somewhere else. To me, that's kind of like light's way of preserving itself when it's not being observed. So are we in a different state? Basically, when our bodies are asleep, is the photon light in a different state that is kind of in a different form of density while we are not awake. Me learning how the earth is configured and the fact that there's a magnetic resonance that holds all matter together, right? And the fact that you're sleeping and you feel this intense pressure when you're in that different brain state, maybe it's because your eyes are not open. So in sleep paralysis, it's kind of like you get to kind of peer a little bit through what the actual density is when you are sleeping, okay, and your photon light is in hiding because the observer is no longer watching. So to me, it's kind of like you enter a new form of density where light goes basically when you are not observing. That is so crazy to me, but sleep paralysis allows you to tap in between both worlds, meaning that you have your eyes open. So now you can experience it. That's why you feel weighted down, because your photon light is hiding. I mean, the law itself shouldn't just be for us observing, of course, the eyes for us are the observer. The brain is basically the observer. So that means that, our light within our photon bodies probably does the same thing. And when you're sleeping, like they talk about the silver cord theory, maybe that's how you travel. But in that experience I just had, it shows me that this pressurized experience that we experience when we are in sleep paralysis shows that our light is in another form when we stop observing. When we close our eyes and we go to sleep, the magnetic resonance gets to kind of invade the space. It kind of like presses down because now you're able to travel. But sleep paralysis is the hack in between both worlds. Wow.